Hi, Jacqueline. It's Leslie. I got your email regarding Grader Project 2E, and I hope that I can help you with that, certainly. So I'm going to go over the first couple of steps in the Grader Project. I think that's where you indicated you had some questions. Oops, sorry about that. And then if you need anything else, just let me know. Okay, so I have the worksheet downloaded here. And basically in step 2, it says to the right of column B, insert two new columns to create new blank columns C and D. And then by using the flash fill in the two new columns, split the data in column B basically into the two new columns. So this part of the exercise is very similar to what you did in project 2A at the very beginning of the chapter. It's under Objective 1 and it's Activity 2.01 if you want to go back into your book. But the basics of this step is you can see here in column B, they have combined item number and item name all into one column. Generally, this is just not good practice when you're using an Excel spreadsheet because sometimes you might want to sort on different items. And if you have this information combined, it's really hard to sort on these information. Basically, you have two pieces of information sitting in one column. So that's pretty much what they're trying to get you to do, is to break it into two columns, which again is good practice for Excel. So the first thing I want to do is make two new columns. So I'm going to come up here into the header, the column header. I'm going to select C and D. That way when I insert, I'll get two columns at the same time instead of just one. So if I go over here to insert, and I'm on the Home tab, insert, and then sheet columns, it automatically makes the two new columns for me because that's how many I had initially selected. Okay, so now with those two columns created, I can start breaking this information up into two separate columns. So column C is going to contain the item number information. So the first thing I want to do is type in 852. I can see that over here. That's the item number for this very first item. And then I'll go ahead and I'm just going to use actually the little check mark up here. That tells Excel that I'm done with my entry, but it just keeps me still in the same active cell. So now that I have that, I can come back over here to the editing group, and when I click on the fill button, you can see down here that we have the flash fill feature here. So I can just go ahead and click on that, and Excel automatically fills all of this in. Basically, we gave it this example of 852. So now on this next cell here, it looks back over here and sees 802 and fills that in. And then for this one, it looks over here to see 803 and fills that in. So the flash fill is just a really great time saver. You certainly could have typed all these in by hand, but you run the risk, obviously, of possibly making a typing error or that type of thing. So flash fill really does come in handy. Okay, so now over here in column D, I'm going to pull out the item names from column B. So first I need to type in, looks like tiramisu mocha. And when you're typing in things like this, you do want to make sure that you spell things correctly. That is really important. So same thing, I'll just go ahead and click the enter little button up there, and I now have this as my example. Back to the fill button I go, and then the flash fill feature here, and then it actually filled in all of the other items for me, which is again really nice. That would have been a lot of typing. Sometimes it gives you a suggestion up here of what your column name might want to be. This time it pulled over this whole column name from column B, but I'm just going to edit it because I actually, for column D, I just want it to be item name. So that looks good. And then for column C, I want the heading to be item number. Okay, and that looks good. Okay, so this is all part of step 2 in Project E. We made the 2 new columns. We used the flash fill to fill in both of the columns just by typing the first, the corresponding name or number, excuse me, or in this case, item name, from over here, and used flash fill on both of those to fill in the columns. Now, since we have this information here, we no longer need column B. So that's the last thing on our list for this particular step is we're just going to delete column B. So again, I'm coming up to the column heading, and for this one I can just use my right mouse button and say delete. I could have also gone over here to delete in the cells group as well, so whichever works best for you. And I'll just click on delete, and it knows that since I had the entire column selected, it knows what I want to delete, and now that's taken care of. So now I have one column for item number, and I have one column for item name. And again, it's just a much better practice because there might come a time when you want to maybe sort on these items or filter on these items. Those are things that we'll continue to work on throughout the class. And you can't really effectively do that if you have like 2 pieces of information contained in one column. Okay, so I hope that that helps. I think this was the step that was kind of giving you some difficulty. But again, like I mentioned, if there's anything else that you need help with, let me know so you can keep moving forward, okay? All right, thanks so much.